for another day. Today's the boring stuff. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not going to church it up for you, Dirt. This is going to be a rough day. And so if you guys are not feeling up to it, if you're feeling a little bit sleepy, feel free to jump up and go ahead and do some push-ups or whatever it is that you need to do. But it's not going to be super exciting. So day 2 notes. We're going to start our first trimester officially today. We're going to start in and talk about everything that we're officially teaching. I realized yesterday that I feel like I'm retaining a lot of water in the morning. Like maybe my face is a little bit fatter. But then I realized I am opening an office here next to a Starbucks, and everybody just keeps bringing me Starbucks, so I'm just getting fat. So that's a little bit, that's something that I'm reckoning with. But I'm just learning to love thick Serpa here as we jump into real estate school. Here we go, everybody. This class is the boring stuff. Like I said, we're gonna jump in. I am your weird, autistic, combat veteran real estate instructor, and I'm gonna make this as exciting as I possibly can. Today we're talking about real estate licensing. We're talking about agency representation, agency law disclosure, conflict of interest, dual and sub-agency, and trust fund overview. We have 50 pages to review. When I taught this to the high school students, I did not get to everything, which is why we reviewed everything yesterday, which told you about the entire semester, what to expect, how to get licensed, all of the special guest instructors, so that we could really jump right into the terrible, boring stuff today. So there's a couple of notes that I wanted to jump into here. We're taking this right here, and in order to get licensed, you can do it faster. You don't have to join us. You don't have to be here every day, but what you can do is if you wanted to take a test every 18 days, feel free to do that. We're stretching the course material out over 5 weeks in order to allow for special guest instructors on Mondays, Socratic discussions on Fridays, and then also for you to participate in delivering some homework and your branding, setting up your business pages, your business plans, etc., and so forth. We want to make sure that not only are you getting licensed, but you're ready to actually practice real estate. So in order to pass and get your California real estate license, you're going to have to pass the California real estate exam. Every 18 days, you can take a new test. These tests are open book. So everything that I'm teaching you, it's all part of a real estate package, which you can buy through First Tuesday. We'll talk about the discount program and how to do that through CalPACES. The discount code 6106. You could get all of your reading material and read this on your own. A lot of people don't like to read the books on their own. That's why we're jumping into this. There are 3 tests that you have to take in order to pass. It will be the real estate practice, real estate principles, and real estate law. We're going to join one another here for our open book test via Zoom. We'll go ahead and we'll let everybody all drop out. You guys take the test. We'll be all right. We'll keep going. And then you'll need to get fingerprinted. You're going to need to go get a live scan. Eventually, we're going to walk you through all of this throughout the course of the semester. You can get this done more quickly, exactly 54 days versus 5 weeks. But I find that a lot of people that are trying to get licensed, they're dropping out when they're trying to do it on their own. Everybody wants to get licensed. Very few people are actually doing it. And I've found that if we can stretch this out, but also give you an opportunity to earn some commission in the interim, then more people are going to participate, in my opinion. And that's what the Real Estate Finder program is about. That's part of what we're going to be talking about on Monday. That's what the high school students learned about yesterday. It's called Commission Boot Camp. It's going to happen every day starting January 25th. And it's going to run from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, depending how long we keep it going. And it's going to be led by Amy Serpa, Zach Bach, and Andres de Arense. We're going to teach you everything else too, like I said. But first and foremost, here we go. We've got to jump into the boring stuff right now. And the first boring material that we're going to be learning is called Real Estate Principles. Now, if you have your First Tuesday courses already, this would be an opportunity for you to go ahead and open that up if you would like to do that. If not, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to broadcast this to you guys right on the screen for you to see what I'm seeing as I go through it. I feel super fancy when I get a chance to do this. It makes it feel a little bit less boring. Here we go. Hiya. Isn't that exciting? Okay, so this course is called Real Estate Principles, and Chapter 1 is Real Estate Licensing and Endorsement. I'm going to make my head a little bit smaller. My head is big enough as it is. And this is called Real Estate Licensing and Endorsement. In the blue, we see the learning objectives. We're not going to go over what we're going to learn and then relearn it. Same thing with the key terms. So we're going to start in every time. And also, there is no way to church this up. Like I said, this is a boring class. Some of this is going to feel a little bit repetitive as we're going over it. But here we go. The real estate law, DRE oversight. Real estate law is codified to protect the public in real estate transactions when a real estate licensee or subdivision is involved. The California legislature created the Department of Real Estate to oversee, regulate, administer, and enforce the real estate law. The DRE, formerly known as CalBRE, prior to July of 2018. Real Estate Commissioner. The chief officer of the DRE is the Real Estate Commissioner. The Real Estate Commissioner's principal responsibility is to enforce all real estate laws pertaining to real estate licensing and the Subdivided Lands Act. The Commissioner ensures that real estate licensees and members of the public dealing with licensees receive maximum protection. As a means of enforcing licensing and subdivision laws, the Commissioner issues regulations and addressing conduct of persons falling within the real estate law activities. The regulations are part of the California Code of Regulations known as Title 10, activities requiring a real estate license. Now, these are the activities that you are not allowed to participate in as a member of the Finder program, and we're going to go over this. You could actually be punished. You could be fined up to, I think, $60,000 or no, $20,000 and spend 6 months in jail. So don't do any of these things while you're still pursuing your real estate license. Okay, a real estate broker is a person who for compensation or an expectation of compensation engages in negotiation of the sale, purchase, or exchange of real estate, leases, or business opportunities, meaning you cannot start, if you find a property that you think somebody might like, you cannot call up the agent and start slinging real estate for your best friend. That's not where you're at just yet. You're going to get there, but not yet. You cannot solicit listings, buyers, or sellers. You cannot lease or rent or offer to lease or rent property on behalf of an owner or tenant. Collecting rent from real estate or business opportunities. Assisting in the purchase or lease of property owned by the state or federal government. Negotiation of real property, sales, contracts, or mortgages to be secured directly or collaterally by real estate or business opportunities on behalf of lenders, borrowers, and negotiating the sale or purchase of a mobile home. So you're going to have to wait until you get those courses done. That being said, finding and identifying people and then allowing us to refer them out still qualifies you to participate as a finder in the state of California. If you are watching here from another state, the finder program does not apply to any of the other states as far as I know, and we're going to outline exactly which videos allow you to do what and which one, how that all breaks down. And that's actually on the website if you wanted to jump ahead at educateandpowerexplore.com. Okay, a real estate agent is an individual who for compensation or an expectation of compensation is employed by a licensed broker to do one or more of the following acts of a licensed broker. Real estate agents are legally classified as agents of the agent since they need to be employed by a real estate broker to render real estate related services to the public. Agents render all services on behalf of the broker that employs them. For example, my broker is eXp Realty. Now, you'll see several different instructors that are with Keller Williams or Signature Real Estate Group. We've got a pretty wide array of choices, and we'll jump into that a little bit more later, but I am not a broker. Delegated supervision, not agency. A sales agent employed by a broker is the agent of the broker, not a client. In turn, the broker is the agent of the client. So this is the DRE website, if you wanted to check that out. This is where you will eventually follow up, schedule your licensing exam. You will find out, you will be able to switch your brokerages or All of that stuff, it is all handled through e-licensing on the Caldry website. As an agent representing the broker, a real estate sales agent is authorized, oh, sorry, I turned my phone there, authorized to prepare listings, sales documents, disclosure sheets, etc. on behalf of the broker. The agent does not do so on their own behalf. The broker employing agents is required under the DRE's supervisory scheme to reasonably supervise sales agents' activities. Reasonable supervision includes establishing policies, rules, procedures, and statements to review and manage transactions requiring a real estate license, documents having a material effect upon the rights or obligations of a party to the transaction, the filing, storage, and maintenance of documents, the handling of trust funds, advertisement of services that require a license, sales agents' knowledge of anti-discrimination laws, and reports of the activities of the sales agent. So, licensing education. To be eligible for a broker or agent license, the applicant needs to be at least 18 years old, be honest and truthful. That's half of you are gone. You're out. No, I'm just kidding. Make the application on the proper form prescribed by the DRE. Complete the mandatory education and pass the qualifying exam. Like I said, we've got a lot of tools that will help you do that. One of those tools is to join Real Estate Exam Study Group, which is moderated by myself and Stuart Jacobson. And if you want to go ahead and check that out, that is on Facebook. It is a great support group of people that will help you get that passed. In addition, all applicants need to be fingerprinted. Fingerprints are not required if the applicant is currently licensed by the DRE or holds a real estate license that expired less than 2 years ago. All statutory course requirements for both the agent and the broker license may be waived if the applicant is a member of the state bar. The individual broker license. Every real estate broker maintains a definite place of business which serves as an office. I am here at my office right now. The office is the place where the broker displays their license and where consultations with clients are held. Some people are in a situation where maybe their broker lives in a different city than them, and a lot of people don't go into the office. That just kind of depends on you, but either way, there is a broker somewhere that you have to hang your license under who maintains an office somewhere. And that's what is ultimately going to end up being your mailing address for all of this e-licensing stuff. Anyway, we'll talk about that again more later. If more than one place of business is maintained, the broker applies for and obtains additional license for each office branch. For example, like I said, our community is a branch of EXP. We're in the filing process for it to be a branch of EXP. So you'll see like different things powered by this. Or you'll see several different Coldwell Bankers. Coldwell Banker Mountain Resort. Coldwell Banker Beach and Sea. All of these different things. Okay. The agent is required to have worked on an agent who has held a real estate license for at least 2 years within the last 5 years may apply for a broker's license, though you may not want to. As my friend Christian Tika says, it's a lot of extra liability if that's something that you want to do. The agent is required to have worked on a full-time basis for at least 40 hours per week as an agent during the 2-year requirement. The DRE requires verification of the agent's employment using the Employment Verification Form issued by the DRE. Exceptions to the agent employment requirements will be given to an applicant who has at least 2 years of general real estate experience or graduated with a real estate specific degree from a 4-year college or university. Experience qualifications. To qualify for employment exemption based on experience, the broker applicant needs to file a written petition with the DRE setting forth the applicant's qualifications. The DRE considers the following activities conducted within the 5-year period immediately prior to the date of application for the broker examination as qualification in lieu of employment as a sales agent. Experience as an escrow or title officer, experience as a mortgage officer directly related to the financing or conveying of property, or experience as a subdivider, contractor, or speculative builder if the agent performs substantial duties relating to the purchase, finance, development, and sales or lease of real property. Other types of direct real estate related experience will be considered by the DRE if it satisfies the intent of the law. The broker applicants need to complete 8 statutory courses of the 3 semester units or the quarter equivalent unless exempt. 5 of the 8 courses need to be in real estate practice, legal aspects of real estate, in real estate appraisal, real estate finance, or real estate economics or accounting. And the remaining 3 courses can be selected from any of the following: real estate principles, business law, property management, real estate office administration, escrows, mortgage brokering and lending, advanced legal aspects of real estate, common interest developments, advanced real estate finance, advanced real estate appraisal, or computer applications in real estate. We are going to be taking, as a part of this course, real estate practice, real estate principles, and real estate law. Legal aspects of real estate, excuse me. The 3 courses taken to meet the agent licensing requirements count towards the 8 courses a broker needs to complete. Thus, a licensed agent only needs to take 5 additional courses to qualify to take the broker exam. On completion of the course requirements, this is to take the broker exam, the broker applicant applies to take the state broker licensing exam. The applicant has 2 years from the DRE receipt of examination application to meet the license qualification requirements and take the exam. If the broker applicant fails the exam, they may apply for re-examination within 2 years after filing the examination application. No limit is placed on the number of times the applicant may take the exam. Now, there's a lot of talk about, what if I fail the test? Lots of people fail the test the first time. I'm not giving you a pass if you fail the test. Flipping, don't fail it. Knock it out the park. But don't worry about it if you fail it. Just dust yourself off. Don't put off scheduling the test. And I'm looking at you, Mom. My mom was putting off taking the test because she was worried about failing. So just do it. Knock it out the park. Take a look at my text messages. My shiplap wall went in yesterday. So that's Gio saying that he's excited that I like my shiplap wall. Agent license. An agent individual employed by a real estate broker to directly participate in the brokerage activities on the broker's behalf. To qualify, we already went over this, real estate principles, real estate practice, and then, you guys might end up in a situation, I might end up turning this on airplane mode because I end up rolling with some pretty bizarre human beings, and there is no telling what might end up coming through on this guy. So let's go ahead, and now, I'm not talking about Geo specifically, I'm just talking about all of my homies. I'm a little bit of a weird dude, like I said. So weird dudes roll with other weird dudes and weird people. So I'm not going to let everybody read my text messages. All right, here we go. So all of the same stuff that we just read about with the broker, within the 2 years, you can fail a whole bunch of times and keep going, but there is a delay on when you can take the test again. Here we go. Exemptions from licensee requirements. The following are major categories of persons and activities which are exempt from real estate licensing requirements. Now, these are people, a lot of people say, well, what if I sell this or what if I do that? Can I? Here are the only ways. A person dealing with their own property is called a principal. Now, this is what a lot of us call a FSBO. So why can you sell your own house by owner? Well, that's because you're the principal. An officer of a corporation or a general partner of a partnership or a manager of a limited liability company, LLC, collectively called entities with respect to property owned or leased by the entity to be exempt, the acts may not be performed in expectation of a fee. An individual power of attorney authority, an attorney rendering legal services for a client, a receiver, trustee in bankruptcy, or any person acting under order of a court, a trustee or a deed lien, who is acting under a power of sale provision in the trust deed, or a resident manager of an apartment complex, hotel, motel, or trailer park. Also exempt are the individuals acting on behalf of others, such as unlicensed employees of real estate brokers, who arrange, accept reservations or money for transient occupancy in vacation rentals, such as hotels, motels, or residence clubs, common interest developments, or CIDs, such as condominium projects, planned urban developments, community apartment projects, and stock cooperatives, or an apartment unit or single-family residence. Now, you'll see a home referred to often as a single-family residence. An individual acting without a real estate license, either as a broker or as an agent, is guilty of a public offense, punishable by a maximum of $20,000. I was right. I was there earlier. For an individual, or $60,000 for a corporation, 6 months in jail, or a fine and imprisonment. I don't want you guys to get locked up, which is why we're going to pay attention next week during commission boot camp. when Amy really breaks it down on what we can and cannot do. And then this Friday, when we watch the video about all of this stuff on how you can earn commission and how you cannot. Continuing education requirements. A real estate broker and real estate agent license is valid from 4 years from the date of issuance noted on the license certificate. All real estate brokers and sales agents need to complete 45 hours of continuing education to renew a license issued by the DRE. The CE requirements for license renewal were legislated to help maintain and improve the level of competence of real estate brokers and agents. A DRE sales agent renewing for the first time needs to complete 45 hours of CE, consisting of 18 hours of consumer protection courses, 15 hours of comprised separate 3-hour courses in agency, fair housing, trust funds, ethics, and risk management, and the remaining 12 hours of composed of either consumer protection of consumer service courses, including office management and supervision course if they choose to take it. Now, a lot of people told me, David Serpa, you don't want to read this stuff. You don't want to cover any of this stuff in your courses. Let somebody else teach this stuff. This is boring. But the truth is there's a lot of agents that should have paid attention when it came to fair housing or to, I was doing all this really dramatic stuff where I was really going to like bring it in home, to fair housing or to ethics. And so, you know, who is your due diligence to? It's your client. And so I understand that it's boring and it's not something that we necessarily want to watch. And I even have people agreeing with me right now. Good morning, my friend. The boring stuff. Now, is every team leader of EXP teams a broker or still experienced agent? No, not necessarily. So that's a good question, Victoria. So not every team leader is necessarily experienced. There are people that get started in real estate and they immediately decide that they want to start a team and they've never even really sold a house before. And so that's definitely something that that happens. There was definitely a glamorization of real estate teams that happened, and then there's a lot of teams that they don't even have a whole lot of great leadership. That being said, teams are a good place to start if you can find a good one, and there are a lot of good teams out there to take a look at. And that's being said for really everybody. Oh, geez, really wearing my. I want to give Chad Power a call, obviously. So no, that's the truth. You're not necessarily in a situation where you want to. Sorry, my battery drains immediately when I start this class. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and keep it going with the course. So just because somebody's calling themselves a team lead does not necessarily mean that they're experienced at all. So, that's just the truth. Okay, here we go. But that being said, if somebody has, anyway, we're getting off into the woods now. But not just because it's not like a badge that anybody earns by becoming a team lead. It's just something that they basically hired themselves. I became a team lead after 11 months. I'd sold, I think 22 houses or something like that. And the only reason why I became a team lead is because I had too much business and I wanted to go ahead and maximize our business opportunities by appearing bigger than we were. And I found two really great agents that we really grew it out together. So all right, now we're getting back to the boring stuff. Don't try to distract me. I'm going to make you learn it. Here we go. While brokers and sales agents beyond their first renewal are required to include the office management and supervision course in their 45 CE hours, a licensee may study the office management and supervision materials separately or aggregated into 8-hour survey course within the 5 mandated courses. Here, the 45 CE hours will consist of 18 hours of consumer protection courses, mandated topical courses structured as either 18 hours comprised of 6 separate 3-hour courses in agency, fair housing, trust funds, ethics, risk management, office management, supervision, or 8 hours in a survey course covering all 6 subjects, and the remaining hours composed of consumer protection or consumer service. Consumer protection courses covering the following real estate-based topics are considered consumer protection courses: real estate finance, land use regulation and control, consumer disclosures, agency relationships, capital formation for real estate development, fair practices in real estate, appraisal and property valuation technique, property management, energy conservation, environmental regulation, and probate. Okay, now this is an important part. A lot of people want to know, how much is this actually going to cost me? So for you guys, we're going to look at the licensing cost. And so what you're going to need to look at is the examination fee, which is $60, plus the agent license. So it will end up being those two together, which is the $305. Plus you'll have to pay for your live scan, and you will need to pay for your licensing courses. Through this program, the way that we have it set up, you can sign up through First Tuesday in CalPaces and use the discount code 6106, and we have that down to $102.55. But you don't have to pay anything to continue to watch this. I'm going to make this as accessible as possible because we want to get a whole bunch of good people licensed. Okay, consumer service courses cover topics designed to help licensees achieve a higher level of competence in sales, organizational, and management skills. Examples of consumer services courses include how to market a property, how to hold an open house, how to motivate sellers, and how to obtain a listing. There are a lot of really great classes that count towards your CE. Beef Wellington teaches a lot of great courses. Keller Williams has a lot of great courses in-house that help. All right, here we go. Licensee is exempt from CE requirements if on the actual renewal date of the real estate license, the licensee is at least 70 years of age and has been to a real estate licensee in California for at least 30 consecutive years. There at the end, they really just let you fall off. No, I'm just kidding. All right. I'm going to check in really quick to see if there's anything on the other side. Sorry, you will have uploaded on YouTube at work. Won't be able to finish listening right now. Hey, that's totally cool. Do not worry if you cannot finish this broadcast. We had 9 people at one point, I think maybe 11 people. We still got 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 people watching on Zoom. Hey guys, that's fantastic that you guys have been able to do this. Next week when we start the commission boot camp, and immediately after this class, you guys will be able to start your day working as a finder and working alongside licensed agents. You know, there will be more of an impetus to kind of stick around and whatnot. I'm super blown away that we've had the sort of participation that we've already had. So I'm excited to be a part of this, excited to be a part of this movement. So I appreciate everyone for participating. The corporate license. Okay, so this is, we're not going to get into this stuff right here. Oh wait, here we go. Actually, we are going to get into this part right here. The violations of real estate law. A violation of real estate law by a broker of his sales agent may result in his suspension or revocation of the license by a real estate commissioner. The following are grounds for suspension or revocation of a DRE license. Business and professions codes. Let's see, here we go. The commissioner may, upon his or her own motion, and shall, upon verified complaint in writing of any person, investigate the actions of any person engaged in the business or acting on the capacity of their real estate licensee within the state, and he or she may temporarily suspend or permanently revoke a real estate license at any time where the licensee, while a real estate licensee, in performing or attempting to perform any of the acts within the scopes of this chapter and has been guilty of the following: making any substantial misrepresentation. This would be like for you guys calling yourself an agent when you're not an agent. We are a finder or an agent in training, right? For me, this would be stating something, making a false claim about the house, right? Okay, making any false promises of character likely to influence, persuade, or induce. A continued and flagrant course of misrepresentation or making false promises through real estate agents or salespersons. Acting for more than one party in a transaction without the knowledge or consent of all parties thereto. You can represent both parties. That's called dual agency, but you just need to disclose and then act in both parties' best interest and advise them accordingly. Commingling with his or her own money or property, the money or other property of others which is received and held by him or her. Claiming, demanding, or receiving a fee or compensation or commission under any exclusive agreement authorizing or employing a licensee to perform any acts of set forth in section 10131 for compensation or commission, where the agreement does not contain a definite specified date of final and complete termination. The claiming or taking by a licensee or any secret or undisclosed amount of compensation, commission, or profit, and the failure or licensee to reveal the employer or licensee full amount of the licensee's compensation, commission, or profit under any agreement authorizing or employing the licensee to do any acts for which a license is required under this chapter for compensation or commission prior to or coincident with the signing of an agreement evidencing the meeting of the minds or contracting parties, regardless of the form of the agreement, whether evidenced by documents in an escrow or by any other or different procedure. Good night. Holy smokes. The use by licensee of any provision allowing by the licensee an option to purchase in an agreement authorizing or employing the licensee to sell, buy, or exchange real estate or business opportunity for compensation or commission, except when the licensee prior to or coincident with election to exercise the option to purchase reveals in writing to the employer the full amount of the licensee's profit and obtains the written consent of the employer approving the amount of the profit. Siri, not right now. Okay. All right. Obtaining a signature. So you are, don't do any of the unlicensed stuff. You're going to get yourself in trouble, or do any of the licensed stuff. Here we go. This is really dry. I don't think I read this in the first class. We're going to go to the stuff that's a little bit more exciting than watching paint dry, because I don't think that any of this stuff is going to be on the test. Here we go. The officer qualifying the corporation or corporate broker's license is called the designated officer, or the DO. The corporation holds its brokerage license through the DO. The DO is responsible for the supervision and control of the activities of officers and employees of the corporation. This includes supervision of the activities of agents and brokers employed to act as agents for the corporate broker. Failure of the DO to supervise may result in the suspension or revocation of the DO's real estate license. The individual broker, when acting as the DO, acts on behalf of the corporation in the capacity of corporate officer only. The individual who is the DO may also become an employee of the corporation and act as an agent of the corporation, rendering service to the corporation's clients. The DO is liable to the corporation for any failure to supervise agents. However, the DO is not liable to corporate clients for breaching their duty to supervise agents. This supervision is a duty owed to their employer, the corporation, and the DRE who entrusted them as the designated officer. Fictitious business name. A licensee may use a fictitious business name in any activity for which a real estate license is required, if the license is issued under the fictitious name. For example, I use our community as a fictitious business name. A fictitious name license will only be granted to a broker who has complied with the filing requirements for a fictitious business name, as a DBA, also known as a doing business as. There you go. The DRE will refuse to issue a license under a fictitious business name when the name is misleading or would constitute false advertisement, implies a partnership or corporation exists when one does not, includes the name of a real estate agent, violates California Business and Professions Codes on fictitious business name requirements, or is the name formerly used by a licensee whose license has been revoked. Mineral, oil, and gas. A real estate broker and agent may solicit and negotiate for the purchase, release, or exchange of mineral, oil, and gas property. The licensee may also arrange or negotiate and service loans on mineral, oil, and gas property, for those of you slinging real estate in those oil-rich states. Finally, the licensee may rent mineral, oil, and gas property and collect the rents or royalties from the mineral, oil, and gas property. Child support obligations. The DRE cannot issue or renew a real estate license if the applicant is on a list of a person not in compliance with the child support orders provided by the State Department of Social Services. However, the DRE may issue a 150-day temporary license to an otherwise qualified applicant who is on the list of persons neglecting child support. Only one 150-day license will be issued, and a 4-year license cannot be issued until a release is obtained from the District Attorney's Office. The State Department of Social Services also provides the DRE with a supplemental list of real estate licensees who are delinquent in child support payments for more than 4 months. If the licensee does not renew their license with the DRE within 6 months of the DRE's receipt of the supplemental list, the license will not be subject to suspension. The DRE has the authority to suspend the license of any licensee placed on the supplemental 4-month delinquency list. However, before a license can be suspended, the DRE gives the licensee notice that the license will be suspended 150 days after the notice is served, unless the licensee receives a release from the district attorney. Okay, also any real estate licensee whose name appears on the certified list or supplemental list provided by the State Department of Social Services for noncompliance in an order of child support is liable to the DRE for special handling of $95 each time their name is on the list. The DRE commissioner will not issue a license or reinstate a suspended license until the $95 is paid. Business opportunities. Okay. All right. I wanted to check the chat here, make sure that everybody's still square. I'm going to try to get as much reading done as possible so that you guys don't end up with a bunch of extra homework here. Okay. A business opportunity is the sale or lease of the operations and goodwill of an existing business enterprise or opportunity. Common types of business opportunities include liquor stores, gas stations, and restaurants. The arranging of a sale or purchase of a business opportunity is governed by the DRE. To receive a fee or the sale of a business opportunity, it is necessary to hold a real estate license, unless the person receiving the fee is licensed as a securities broker or a dealer by the United States. The sale of a business opportunity consists of 2 transactions: the sale of the business, including inventory, trade fixtures, and goodwill, and the sale of the real property itself, whether a fee or leasehold interest, including in the building and land. The documents used in the sale of the business include the bill of sale, Uniform Commercial Code, financing statement for the personal property, and a deed for the transfer of real property. Bulk sales. On the sale of a business opportunity, the inventory of the business is transferred to the buyers by a bill of sale. The transfer of more than 1/2 of the inventory of the business materials or goods to a person other than the business customers is called a bulk sale. A bulk sale needs to comply with the UCC since it's transfer of personal property. The buyer of the inventory gives public notice of the transfer 12 days before the transfer takes place to perfect their interest in the acquisition of the inventory on closing. Mobile home sales. Mobile homes have a unique legal status, being either real estate or personal property. A mobile home, also called a manufactured home, is a structure at least 8 feet in width, 40 feet in length, or more than 320 square feet when transported in one or more sections. Built on a permanent chassis, which is also called a permanent foundation, designed to be used in a dwelling with or without a permanent foundation. In California, we call that 433. You'll see if you're scrolling through listings that a mobile home either is with 433, which is a permanent foundation, or without one. And if they do not have a permanent foundation, they will not qualify for VA or FHA funding. Okay, a mobile home that meets the requirement and is attached to a permanent foundation is no longer considered personal property but real estate, since it is a permanent fixture or an improvement to real estate. The broker handling the sale of the mobile home that is considered real estate conducts themselves as though they are handling the sale of real estate. The rules for buying, selling, registering, and encumbering mobile homes that are not considered real property differ from the rules of real estate sales. The government agency responsible for the registration of mobile homes is the California Department of Housing and Community Development, HCD. Mobile homes are registered with the HCD unless the mobile home is considered real estate. When a new mobile home is first purchased, it is registered on a form provided by the HCD, referred to as original registration of the mobile home. At the time of the original registration of the mobile home, the HCD creates a permanent title record for the mobile home. Real Estate Recovery Fund. The Real Estate Recovery Fund, also known as the Consumer Recovery Account, is available to individuals who have obtained a final court judgment against a real estate licensee for losses caused while acting as an agent and are unable to recover the judgment from the licensee. The judgment needs to be based on fraud, misrepresentation or deceit, conversion of trust funds, or criminal restitution. For causes of actions occurred on or after January 1st, 2009, the threshold is $50,000 for one transaction and $250,000 for any one license. A licensee's license will be suspended and will not be reinstated until the licensee repays any amount paid from the Real Estate Recovery Fund to satisfy a judgment against them. Mortgage loan brokerage. Licensees who make or arrange residential mortgages are required to obtain a DRE, Mortgage Loan Originator License Endorsement, or MLO. A residential mortgage is any loan primarily for personal, family, or household use, known as consumer purpose mortgage, secured by a deed of trust on a dwelling. Dwellings include 1 to 4 unit residential properties, mobile homes, and trailers or houseboats if they are used as residences. In order for a transaction to trigger the DRE MLO license endorsement requirements, it needs to meet both the prongs of residential mortgage definition, a consumer purpose and security in the form of a dwelling. Thus, whether or not the DRE MLO license endorsement is required depends on the purpose of the mortgage, not just the property securing it. Mortgages for the personal and household purposes, when secured by a dwelling, are consumer purpose mortgages and trigger the endorsement requirement. On the other hand, loans made for businesses, investments, or agricultural purposes, whether or not secured by a dwelling, are not made for the consumer purpose and do not trigger the endorsement requirements. MLO endorsement. To become DRE endorsed as an MLO, a licensee needs to complete the national and state California specific mortgage brokerage examination and submit an MLO license endorsement application through the nationwide mortgage licensing system and registry, complete and supply a criminal background check, including fingerprinting to the NMLS, complete 20 hours of the pre-license education, and provide authorization for the NMLS to obtain a credit report on the licensee. The NMLS is an offshoot of a larger regulatory scheme known as the Secure and Fair Enforcement Mortgage Licensing Act. To keep their DRE endorsement, MLOs need to meet minimum licensing endorsement standards, pay the yearly renewal fee, and complete a minimum of 8 hours of continuing education annually, including 3 hours of federal law and regulations, 2 hours of ethics, including instruction on fraud, consumer protection, and fair lending issues, and 2 hours on lending standards for non-traditional mortgages. Holy smokes. Chapter 1 is done, you guys. We only have like 70 more chapters in this book, and we've only got 3 more books, and then we're done. You guys are licensed, pretty much. Oh, I'm just kidding. All right, this is a little bit rough. I'm super shocked that there are still 3 people watching us live on Facebook, and we have still retained 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 people. Respect, family. Respect. We're going to keep going. Here we go. Agency authority to represent others. Agency authority to represent others. We can skip that part. Introduction to agency. An agent is described as one who is authorized to act for or in place of another as a representative. An agency relationship exists between principal and agent, employer, and employee. The Department of Real Estate, or the DRE, was created to oversee licensing and police a minimum level of professional competency for individuals desiring to represent others as real estate agents. This mandate is pursued through the education of individuals seeking an original broker or salesperson license. It is also pursued on the renewal of an existing license, known as continuing education. The education is offered in the private and public sectors under government certification. Agency in real estate-related transactions includes relationships between brokers and members of the public, clients or third parties, licensed sales agents and their brokers, and finders and their brokers or principals. You guys, that's you! Okay, you guys showed up in here. Everybody thinks that I'm like making this finder thing up, and it's like, David Serpa, is this just some sort of magic hocus pocus that's going to get you in trouble? And I'm like, no, it is not magic hocus pocus. I just actually read all of the stuff that everybody skips past. The extent of representation owed to a client by the broker and their agents depends on the scope of authority the client gives the broker. Authority is given orally in writing or through the client's conduct with the broker. Agency and representation are synonymous in real estate transactions. A broker, by accepting an exclusive employment from a client, undertakes the task of aggressively using due diligence to represent the client and attain their objectives. Alternatively, an open listing only imposes a best efforts standard of representation until a match is located and negotiations begin, which imposes the due diligence standards of durations of negotiation. You guys are not going to take open listings. Do not do it. I think that, all right, here we go. We're going to keep going. What is an agent? An agent is an individual or corporation who represents another, called the principal, in dealings with third persons. Thus, a principal can never be their own agent. A principal acts on their own account, not on behalf of another. The representation of another's undertaken by a real estate broker is called an agency. Three parties are referred to in an agency law: a principal, an agent, and third persons. Real estate transactions. The agent is a real estate broker retained to represent a client for the purposes hired. The principal is the client, such as the seller, buyer, landlord, tenant, lender, or borrower, who has retained a broker to sell or lease property, locate a buyer or tenant, or arrange a real estate loan with other persons. And third persons are individuals or associations, corporations, limited partnerships, and limited liability companies other than the broker's client, with whom the broker has contact as an agent acting on behalf of their client. Real estate jargon. Real estate jargon used by brokers and agents tends to create confusion among the public. When the jargon is used in legislative schemes, it adds statutory chaos, academic discussion, and consternation among brokers and agents over the duties of real estate licensees. For example, the words real estate agents, as used in the brokerage industry, mean a real estate salesperson employed by and representing a real estate broker. Interestingly, real estate salespersons rarely refer to themselves as real estate agents. A broker never does. Instead, they frequently call themselves a... Oh, that is the 5-minute warning. That means that we've got 5 minutes left in class, but we got a little bit of a late start on class. So I'm going to take this class 5 minutes later and make you guys continue to read, or continue to listen to me read at least. I'm like that kid that just never gives it up at the front of class. I'm ready to read. Call on me. I'll keep going. Instead, they frequently call themselves broker associates or realtors, especially if they are affiliated with the local trade union. The public calls licensees realtors, the generic term for the trade, much like Kleenex. Legally, a client's real estate agent is defined by a real estate broker who undertakes the representation of a client in a real estate transaction. Thus, a salesperson is legally an agent of the agent. The word sub-agency suffers from even greater contrast. So really quick, I wanted to kind of make that really clear. So you have a broker, and then you have an agent underneath the broker. So a lot of people think that when they hire a real estate agent, that person is the only person that it ends with them. They have somebody who you can call a lot of times if you're a client or whatnot, who's basically like their boss. The person who's kind of holding them accountable, and also their license is on every single one of your contracts as well. So it's one of those things where there is the client, there's the agent or the realtor, right? And then there's the broker, okay? And the broker rarely talks to the client unless the broker is also an agent, okay? All right, just to get way off in the woods. The word subagency suffers from even greater contrast. Subagency serves both as jargon for fee-splitting agreements between multiple listing services, member brokers in some areas of the state, and a legal principle for the authorization given to the third broker by the seller's broker or buyer's agent to also act as an agent on behalf of the client, sometimes called a broker-to-broker agreement. Fundamental to real estate agency are the primary duties a broker and their agents owes the principal. These duties are the distinct for the general duties owed by the broker and agents to all other parties involved in the transaction. Primary duties owed to a client in a real estate transaction include a due diligence investigation into the property, evaluating the financial impact of the proposed transaction, advising on the legal consequences of documents which affect the client, considering the tax aspects of the transfer, and reviewing the suitability of the client's exposure to a risk of loss. To care for and protect their clients and themselves, all real estate licensees are to know the scope of authority given to them by the employment agreement, document the agency tasks undertaken, and possess sufficient knowledge, ability, and determination to perform the agency tasks undertaken. Really quick, let people know when you're practicing what you can and cannot do, right? So I tell people, hey, listen, I practice in homes and in contracts. But if you want any solid financial advice, if you want to know a monthly payment, let me get you in contact with your lender, right? Or if somebody needs tax advice, oh, well, how should I do this or how should I do that when preparing for taxes? I'm not going to give people tax advice because I do not want to be held liable. That's beyond my realm of responsibility. So I'm going to refer to them to a CPA, right? Or suggest that they find one. And then finally, let them talk to their escrow officer about escrow documents or their title officer when it comes to really specific title questions. Because when it comes time to them saying, well, how should I hold title? And they get their escrow package. You don't want to be putting your foot in your mouth and providing a bunch of information that you don't necessarily know. And so the best thing that you can do in a situation like that is say, you know what? I don't know, but let me find out for you. Or you know what? I don't know. That's not actually my area of expertise. And then provide them with a person that it is their area of expertise. Okay, here we go. Primary duties. We already went over all of that. A licensee needs to conduct themselves at or above the minimum acceptable levels of competency to avoid liability to a client or disciplinary action by the DRE. Creation of the agency relationship. An agency relationship is created in real estate transactions when a principal employs a broker to act on their behalf. A broker representation of a client, such as a buyer or a seller, is properly undertaken on a written employment agreement signed by both the client and the broker. A written employment agreement is necessary for the broker to have an enforceable fee agreement. This employment contract is loosely referred to in the real estate industry as a listing agreement, or it will be the residential listing agreement. The broker's agency can also be created by an oral agreement or conduct of the client with the broker or other individuals. However, fee arrangements are enforceable if no other agreement exists. Let's see here. At this point, we're coming into chapter 3. This is page 25. We have this is the 5-minute warning here at the end of class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check our comments in the chat to see where we're at and see where everybody, see if we have any questions. Of course, we are in day 2 here. And for those of you that are looking to get that Spanish translation, this is something that we did have figured out in class yesterday. So I apologize for dropping the ball there. We'll get that figured out and make sure that these classes going forward are being translated into Spanish. This is difficult enough as it is without having this be your primary language. Okay, here we go. All right, so not a whole lot to be added on Facebook. There are 2 people left watching on Facebook. I'm assuming my mom is one of them. Hey mom, mom's getting licensed. Good for mom. Some people are thinking that I might be joking, but I'm definitely not joking. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We got, okay, and nothing in the chat. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to take this. We ended on page 25 of the real estate principles. In this first 5-week block, this is the heaviest reading that we have to do. We have to read about 50 to 60 pages a day in our 3-day block, so we're going to have a little bit of homework. Again, like I said, all of these tests are open book, so don't worry about it. You don't have to beat yourself senseless trying to retain all of this information, but just get sort of a basic understanding of it as we go through. And then that will make it so that it's easier to look up in the book your answers when it comes time to do these, your first test here in 5 weeks. Okay, everybody, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Everyone have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow for more boring stuff. Have a good day. Oh, I'm going to stick around for you, Tony. Fire away.
Hey, good morning. Thank you guys for giving the class, first off.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I have this. So first of all, great presentation. I understood everything. I just want to make sure I have the whole gist of it. So after completing you guys' 3 weeks course, doing my due diligence to study myself, getting in the study group, that should prepare me in order to take the test.
Correct.
So I guess my question is, I saw like you had some requirements, prerequisites for like recertification. Mm-hmm. Is there a list of courses besides what I'm doing with you guys that I need to take and have approved before I take a real estate test,
So what we're doing is we're going over all of those right now, and what you can do is we tell people if you want to pay for your CalPaces right now and get your courses, it's $102.55 with the discount code, and I'm going to go over that on Friday. I'm going to show you the website, calpaces.com. I'm going to actually walk you through where to enter in the discount code, and then and this lesson's actually already on YouTube as well for the high school students. This is day 5. So if you go to the YouTube channel and you go to day 5, you can find the CalPaces website. Now, all of that being said, you complete the first couple weeks of the course, and you just show that you're here, that you want to be a part of it. We've committed to making sure that everyone gets a scholarship that needs one, because we know that good people have the ability to be great real estate agents, and we don't want the financial barrier to eliminate someone from being able to participate. And then what that would do, that $102.55 that we're going to get the scholarship director to come in here and talk to you guys about, Rosie Rodriguez, we'll make sure that it gets taken care of. And what that will do is it will empower you to take those 3 tests, so that you're actually getting the 3 certificates and the ebook along with this course, which are like the companion piece that go along with this.
Yes, sir. Gotcha. My last question, you said open book test. That's only referring to this class, correct?
Correct. No, and that's for your first 3 certificates too. So your certificates that you mail in to get licensed, those are open book. So the test that you're taking, that's exactly right. So download that PDF version of the test, and I can tell you, and this is the honest to God truth, when I enrolled to take my licensing test, I set my alarm for every 18 days. I didn't study at all. I took the test open book, and I just Googled, or not Googled, but I looked up the answers in the PDF. I pulled them up, and I didn't study one bit. I passed all the tests, but then what I did is I really took that crash course very seriously, and I dedicated to studying the course and the material, so that when when it came time for me to pass the test, which for you guys is going to be a couple months down the road, I knew everything that I needed to know, and I passed the first time.
Okay, gotcha. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I'll have everything ready to purchase everything I need Friday. So
perfect.
Once you guys go over everything.
Excellent, and I'll walk you guys through that live. You got it, my friend. I appreciate the questions.
You guys have a great rest of your day.
Have a good day, my friend. Bye, guys. Any other questions? I'll wait for you guys. And if not, then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll sign off. Okay. Everybody have a beautiful Tuesday. I will see you guys tomorrow morning for day 3. Have a good day, everybody.